good morning, Elodie. Thank you.
We're going to discuss your expectation for the next mandate, but before we go into it, I would like to have your assessment of the mandate that is ending.
Overall, I personally draw a pretty good assessment of this commission, and especially of the president of the commission. I think she is the first female president of the European Commission, and the first one to really take the sustainability agenda seriously. And that may not be a pure random in a way, but she, I think, really demonstrated courage in responding to facts and not only to politics. So I would personally think it's a pretty good mandate.
You published a manifesto with your expectation for the next mandate. In the manifesto, one of your recommendations is to design a tax system that supports the green transition and long-term employment.
We have a tax system that was basically designed, more or less at the beginning of the past century, and that continues functioning on the premises of the industrial economy, the basically beginning of the 20th century. And I think, we don't have a choice today. We need to change that. We really need to change, because the tax system as it stands is counterproductive. So we need to create that change. And maybe we need to start looking seriously at the impact of tax on people. I mean, we have tax systems in many countries of the EU that produce quite significant amounts of injustice. And this injustice is preventing the sustainability transition. So I think what we're doing is really calling on the member states, because that is their competency, to look at their tax systems and assess their tax system, because we won't be able to produce the sustainability transition that we need to produce while keeping tax systems that basically are built on a world that does not exist, or even worse, that actually support and continue producing that same old world that is leading us to a catastrophe today. In an ideal world, I think we should start really thinking from a blank sheet of paper, looking at how the world around us has profoundly changed and entirely readapt our tax system. It is only once you've done this work that you can then start thinking in terms of transitioning your current system to a new system. And there are people who are doing that work right now. I mean, in this very room, we organized at Accountancy Europe a number of debates on this issue, and it is doable.
In your manifesto, you also call upon the Commission to add the fight against corruption in the list of its legislative priorities. What kind of measure would you expect from the Commission on this?
Well, we're coming back to the point I was making earlier, that we're going to need massive public investment. And it is really unfortunate and unacceptable that a portion of this money is just escaping tax income and is going to crime and money laundering and corruption and etc., I would say. So it is really necessary that we tighten up our tax system. And I think we at Accountancy Europe see this as definitely part of a public interest role of the accountancy profession.
In your manifesto, you also say that the implementation of the Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive will be key. How can you or the Commission or legislators help SMEs deal with the burden that will fall upon them?
Well, that is a critical topic. I mean, we spent a lot of time agreeing the CSRD, the acronym, the Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directives. But spending time on fine-tuning the text is one thing. What really matters is making it work in practice. So right now, we're really calling for a lot of work to support the implementation, in particular for SMEs, because SMEs are often forgotten. In all political agenda. I mean, people like talking about SMEs. There is a lot of talk and discourse on SMEs, but we need concrete measures for these companies. They represent more than 90% of the European economy. We're not going to transition, to a just and sustainable economy if we don't, take SMEs on board. I think we also need, right now, there's a lot of talk on the reporting burden. And I think we are very often overdoing, our reporting systems. And there is that very strange, in a way, cycle in EU legislation where we start, creating a reporting monster, I would say, and then we realize that might be too big, and we then spend, another lot of time reducing it without necessarily doing proper market testing and trying to produce something that is light, something we're calling for, and coherent. And I think the accountancy profession really suffers from the sort of prejudice that you still have a number of people out there who believe that this profession lives from complexity. Well, not at all. And we at Accountancy Europe, for instance, on the sustainability reporting standards, have consistently called for a simple system and make sure that we were not asking too much and that we were asking things, in a gradual way. So we really need to start with, we needed, I think, to start with a small set of indicators, let companies and especially SMEs understand the purpose of a reporting system, adopt it in their business practices, and gradually build up, a more refined system. I don't think that's unfortunately what we've done. So we are where we are. We have created a lot of people in political circles, in business, who are pushing back now on the old sustainability agenda because of a reporting burden. I think strategically this is extremely unfortunate. So what we now need to do is to invest proper resources to help people implement the CSRD and gradually develop sustainability reports that make sense, i.e. that enable proper decision making. It's not a compliance exercise, it is really strategic information that we're looking at in the CSRD.
Thank you very much for this discussion.
Thank you, Elodie. Pleasure.